Yo, welcome to the show. This is your AEW Dynamite post show for Wednesday, November 10th. Tonight on the show, AEW Full Gear coming up this Saturday. Pac and Dax Harwood have an excellent match, and Bobby Fish reunites with Adam Cole. Baby. Adam Cole Bebe. I think that's his full name. Adam Cole Bebe. Like DMD, Adam Cole Bebe. Right? You got to say the whole thing. How you doing, John?
I'm all right. It seemed like you were scrambling for headlines there. It didn't seem like a lot really happened on Dynamite tonight, but you pulled through.
Hey, take it easy. What do you mean? Kayfabe. What are you trying to do here? You're right, though.
Oh, I'm just, it really didn't feel like much really progressed. It's more of like, well, this is happening. That's pretty much it. We did see some good matches, though, tonight. So that really helped, I think.
Yeah, some very good wrestling tonight. I think some people that may not be booked at Full Gear were giving their Full Gear pay-per-view performance tonight. Seems like Pac isn't booked for Full Gear. I didn't see a match for him. Didn't see a lot of matches announced tonight that I kind of expected to be announced for Full Gear. No match for Cody, no match for Andrade, no match for Malachi, no match for Pac. We kind of expected some sort of tag team match, Pac and Cody versus Malachi and Andrade, but they didn't announce that match tonight, and I feel like it's not going to happen. We have a full card for Full Gear. It is. Oh wait, I do see it here on the card on Wikipedia, but I didn't see AEW announce it. Is that a match, John?
I mean, we speculated on that for a while now, where it's like this makes a lot of sense that they've been hyping this, but no announcement was made. I don't know. Maybe did Tony Khan just tweet this out that this match is happening? Possibly. Like I don't know, but I'm not surprised that this match happens. But I didn't see any announcement from it yet. But
No.
if it happens, it makes a lot of sense because like we've been kind of building towards this. Why not have some sort of match, at least Rampage or something, but not even Rampage? So pay-per-view makes sense.
Okay, John, I have some breaking news here for you.
Breaking.
I think this is from Jose the Assistant, who I believe is Andrade's manager guy, who tweeted this graphic out, and it was retweeted by AEW's official page, so I believe that it is official. So we do have the match. They made the match. It will be the Bastard Pack and Cody versus Malachi and Andrade. I didn't see that when they were running down the matches tonight on the TV show, but I guess they announced that on Twitter. Maybe they forgot.
Possibly, or they weren't sure like when this match was actually going to happen. Like maybe they thought it'd be later. Maybe I was thinking actually it'd be the buy-in match. Because you really don't need to have this tag match on the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view seems like it's jam-packed enough as it is. Now it feels like, wow, this is going to be a really long pay-per-view. Hopefully the match is good.
I think it will be. Pac had an excellent match tonight. I want to give a shout-out to some of the members. Brian Firth in the chat, Angelo Contagonis, Doug Hepburn. Shout out to everybody watching us live here tonight. Shout out to everybody watching us, even if you're not watching live, be it on Twitch. I see Angelo's over on Twitch watching us on YouTube, watching us on Facebook. Even if you hate the show and you think we should stop doing the show, I know that you're still watching and still commenting, so I appreciate all the love and the hate. There's one guy who what?
I thought you were going to talk about the whole UFC post-show controversy, how he had some haters on that one.
Oh, I don't know. There seem to be people that, I mean, it just happens, right? People tune into shows, and then they leave negative comments, but then you keep seeing the same names leaving negative comments, over months and months. So you're like, okay, well, you're still watching, right? You're clearly still watching, but everything you have to say is negative about the show. I just figure those people have, their own issues that they're trying to deal with, and are taking it out on us in the show, which feels bad, honestly. It's not nice. I don't like it, but I guess it's part of the way the internet works, John. So not everybody's a nice person. Most people are nice. Most of the comments we get, very positive. Once in a while, you get some negative comments. You're like, oh, that's strange. And then you keep seeing these people, and they're obviously fans of the show, but they also seem to hate the show. It's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic.
You can't please everyone. I don't think you'll ever be able to please everyone. But, I'll do my best not to swear. I think I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, you're great at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, if we like a certain like group or something, like people call us fanboys, like, oh well, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think that there are certain people that just don't like certain wrestlers that we may like and like wrestlers that we may not favor. And when we speak negatively about those guys, they may get upset or whatever. And that's just their opinion, but they seem to still watch the show. So as long as you're watching the show, if you hate the show but watch the show, that's fine. If you like the show and watch the show, even better. But, as long as you're watching, I'm happy with it. Great matches tonight. I think we're all happy watching the show. Surprise for me, I don't think Bryan Danielson had the best match tonight on the card. I thought that match goes to Dax Harwood and Pac in an AEW Classic. I feel like every time Pac is allowed to wrestle on AEW and given a good amount of time, like on Dynamite especially, you give Pac a Dynamite one-on-one match with any kind of time, he is going to steal the show and deliver one hell of a performance. It's not often that we get to see just a one-on-one Pac match on Dynamite, but when it happens, especially against a legitimate opponent, my goodness, it is tremendous. I love Pac. I think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world today, and I think there's absolutely no doubt and there's absolutely no question that Pac versus Dax was the match of the night, right? What a match.
Yeah, I think without question, it was a incredible back and forth match. But I'll give you this though. Up till that match, I think Bryan Danielson had the match of the night. So I mean, number two is not bad. When you're the opening match, usually the opening match I find on Dynamite is the best match. So this has actually been in reverse, where the main event actually was the best match.
Yeah, it was very good. And I kind of like that tag team match, the Lio Rush and Dante Martin versus those guys, Matt Sydal and what's the other guy's name? Lee Moriarty. I thought that match was excellent.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. That Lio Rush is really good. He is one of the best high flyers going. Dante Martin is excellent as well. Sydal. Even Lee Moriarty. I don't know too much about this guy, but I liked him. He's a very talented wrestler. All these guys just killed it. Lio Rush's Dynamite debut, fantastic. The more you see of Dante Martin, you see, he's getting his seasoning in. He's, becoming a more experienced professional wrestler. Fantastic. Big fan of Dante Martin. Shout out to Harold Schneider, by the way, hitting us up on Super Chat. Says he's happy watching, and we are happy that you were watching, Harold. Thank you. Thank you for being one of the good guys. But yeah, Dante Martin, one of the good guys as well. What a match there. Lio Rush is very good. Small, but man, he's good.
I thought the action was good. I wasn't big on the fact that they were heels, pretty much, Martin and Lio Rush, and they started out as heels, and then they kind of wrestled like faces, and they kind of won the crowd over. And I was like, unless that was what they were supposed to do, but I feel like that wasn't exactly what they're supposed to do, but it happened anyways. So that's what kind of threw it off a bit there, where the story, like the action was great, the wrestling was fine, but the story, I don't know if that's exactly how it was supposed to go or what was intended, but that's what happened anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a solid point. I did feel like they were the baby faces at the end of it because AEW has kind of positioned Matt Sydal as a jobber. Anytime Matt Sydal comes out, he's here to lose to whoever, especially with Lio Rush, who's making his Dynamite debut, and they're trying to make this new tag team of Lio Rush and Dante Martin, and they've given them promo time to kind of build up this tag team, and this is really the first time you've seen them together, and it's against the guy that Martin used to team with and Matt Sydal, and here's Matt Sydal's backup guy, Lee Moriarty, who wasn't his first choice for a tag team partner, but hey, he's who he's got right now. So it's just like, okay, well, Sydal and Moriarty, who you don't really know, they're here to lose. AEW clearly has a lot of faith in this Dante Martin guy. They put him on TV all the time. They're clearly pushing this guy, and Lio Rush is new, and he was in the WWE, and, they're clearly pushing him too. So I think when the crowd sees that, they're like, okay, well, these are the guys that are being pushed. These are the important players, and Sydal and this other guy are just the jobbers. And that's the problem with Matt Sydal right now. It's just the way he's been booked in AEW. He's very talented, but he's been booked like a guy who loses all of his matches because he loses most of his matches, right? He's booked as a jobber, so the crowd's going to eventually just go, yeah, whatever. You're going to go with the winner. You're going to go with the shiny new team that's clearly being pushed, right?
Well, I think all the matches, like I don't think there was ever any doubt who was going to win any of the matches. So that also kind of took away a bit of the suspense of any of the matches, but you still saw some good action. Can't really fault the great back and forth that we saw, like in terms of the high flying in that tag match. Definitely really good. But again, that felt like two face teams, and that clearly wasn't supposed to be like that, but it was in the end.
Yeah. It was a very good match, though. I liked it. I like seeing Lio Rush now in AEW. I like Lee Moriarty. But definitely the match of the night, Pac versus Dax Harwood. What's with the wrestlers clearly saying the F word, John, on TV? I know you must not be happy with that. I mean, Dax clearly said fuck when he hit Pac. I mean, you could hear it. Everybody could hear it. And Tay Conti, earlier in the night, she's like, after her match, she wins, and then she's like right at the camera, and she's like, let's fucking go. And it was like, oh, okay. I guess we're just saying fuck now on TV? Like, shit was one thing, and I knew they were doing that, but apparently AEW saying fuck, which, apparently I am too. But what do you think, John? Did you notice that? 2 F-bombs tonight on the show. A little much.
I didn't notice ties, but I noticed Dax did it. But also, like, I'll give the wrestlers some, like, slack because the fact that they don't maybe know that it's being picked up, and it's also on the censors, too. Like, there's a 7-second delay. Like, why aren't they picking that up?
Yeah.
So, it's not completely on them. Like, I mean, they can cut that out, but they don't. So, someone else is doing their job. I mean, yeah, it'd be better if the wrestlers didn't say the F word, but even in, like, other promotions, like, you hear some F-bombs get dropped or something gets dropped because you hear, like, things just get muted out. So, it happens, heat of the moment.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad with that.
All right. It was just you're usually the language police here on the show, John, so I'm just making sure. You just mentioned before, hey, you're not swearing. And I don't think the show has ever heard you swear. I don't know if I've ever heard you drop a curse word.
Well,
it's pretty rare.
Saying like, damn, like I guess some people would say that's a swear word,
but
right? So
you're a grown man who says fudge.
Well, there's a lot of fudge in this world. There's no question about that.
Yeah, but that's the F word you use instead of the,
Super chat.
Anyways,
I think it's a nice replacement.
I think it's just fine.
You don't like fudge, I understand.
No, I like
I'm a
fudge.
fudge guy.
Who doesn't like fudge? It's delicious. I like a nice maple walnut.
Okay, I'm not a big maple walnut guy, but
You don't
okay.
like maple walnut fudge? What's the matter with you? It's delicious. Anyways, Pac hitting a really nice brain buster off the top rope in that match. Dax and Pac, both of their chests bleeding from the chops. Dax with a really nice second row belly-to-back suplex. Just a tremendous match. The finish was a little weird, though. Pac applying the brutalizer submission on Dax, and it just ended right away. Like, he tapped after the bell had rang. I guess he tapped verbally? I don't know what was going on there, but Pac holding on to the submission, and then Dax was tapping afterwards. Did the ref jump the gun and ringing the bell? Did the bell ringer jump the gun there? What happened? It was a little odd.
I think it was intentional because like the announcers said it too, where it's like he gave up quick because he wants to avoid injury for the pay-per-view on Saturday. So I don't know if that was to cover it up, the fact that there was a bit of a mess up, but that made sense by what the commentator said.
Okay.
Also, you saw that in the first match too. Like it felt like it was like a quick tap out before this. Like Daniel Bryan even had the submission locked in.
Yeah, what was the deal there? It kept happening tonight.
There, I felt like it was like legit. Like, oh crap, this hurts. I'm tapping out right away. That's what it looked like right there. Like there was so much pressure on his back because you saw him like holding his back afterwards. Like I don't know if he was like really hurt or not because it seemed like something was wrong.
You just call him Daniel Bryan?
Possibly Bryan
you
Danielson.
It's
hard.
It's
gonna happen. Little slips.
Seeing a lot of fudge talk on the chat. It's all about the fudge. Get it?
Doesn't sound the same.
It's all about the fudge. Oh, budge. Budge is better. It's all about the budge. Anyways, tremendous match. After the match, Pac not letting go of the submission. Cash Wheeler, Dax's tag team partner, comes out to attack Pac. Lights go out. You think, oh, maybe Pac is getting some backup. But no, it's the Revival guys getting more backup. Malachi Black and Andrade in the ring. They join in on the beatdown of Pac. And then the Lucha Brothers showed up eventually, and Cody Rhodes comes in through the crowd. Why was Cody coming in through the crowd? That's new. Was he Dean Ambrose or John Moxley? Now I'm doing it, John.
Actually, he did it before, though. Remember when when they had that his co-host from the TV show he does? Like, she came out, and then Cody came out through the crowd. Like, this is something Cody's doing now, I guess, where you just, like, when his runs happen, they're doing it through the crowd. Yeah. I don't know why, but he's doing that.
Rosario Dawson is who you're thinking of.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the girl, yeah.
That's right. So Lucha Brothers and Cody come in, and the babyfaces fight off the heels and clear them out of the ring, and that was the aftermath of that match, which match of the night, and we agree on match of the night, John, which we don't always, but that
Rare.
was clearly
Wow.
the match of the night, right? I don't think you can argue with that. I thought Bryan Danielson, Rocky Romero was fun. Bryan beating Rocky with the Tequila Sunrise. They kept putting over how Rocky Romero is this great New Japan champion and this great legend in New Japan, and it's like he barely wrestles in New Japan. Watch New
He
Japan.
had a victory over Bryan Danielson, though. That
Yeah,
was kind of a
but like when?
decent deal.
20 years ago?
Still, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you beat me, now I got to get that win back. So
Yeah, well.
I understand. Like, you could have played that off. The only problem is they didn't have a video package. So, like, they could talk about all you want, but it's harder for the fans to really get into it when you haven't actually seen anything of Rocky Romero. Yes, he didn't like a match on Dark, but unless you watch Dark, you don't really know what's going on with that. They should have presented him in a better light. Like, that was the hard part of this match. Like, it was kind of cold going into this.
Rocky Romero was with Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, right? They accompanied him to the match. And
Right.
apparently
Statlander.
Okada has made all those people, even Statlander, members of Chaos now in New Japan. So they're official members of the Chaos group, which, whatever, because Rocky is in Chaos. That was just a thing that happened. Okada has welcomed them into Chaos. So there was some Okada talk on the show, which was nice. I always like hearing about Kazu and what he's up to. And Rocky Romero, you know, it's just weird that he comes out with Orange Cassidy, because when I think of Rocky Romero, I think of he's kind of the Brandon Cutler for Gallows and Anderson. He's their, you know, kind of guy. He does the podcast with them, the Talking Shop podcast. So I don't really associate Rocky Romero with like Orange Cassidy and stuff. I kind of figured he'd be more associated with the Bucks and the Good Brothers, although you don't really see the Good Brothers too much in AEW these days, right? Ever since Adam Cole came in, they kind of disappeared. Back in Impact, I guess. Was that
I think the deal's done now with Impact, and then they're the Impact Tag Champs, so
yeah.
you're not going to see them, I guess, for a while.
Well, so there was Bryan Danielson and Rocky Romero. It opened up the show. It was solid. But it was not my favorite Bryan Danielson match, and I don't believe in Rocky Romero winning any kind of matches ever. He just always loses. Everything he's in, he's always losing. So, didn't love that, but, you know, it was what it was. Danielson's excellent. The Inner Circle, they come out to do an interview with Tony Schiavone, but they get attacked from behind by all of the American top team, Dan Lambert and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page and Andre Arlovsky and Junior Dos Santos. Paige Van Zandt wasn't there, though. Neither was her husband there, Austin Vanderford. The other guy was there. I don't know what his name is. The unknown MMA fighter who's just, he wears a Bellator t-shirt. I think he fights for Bellator. I don't know who he is. Eventually I'll see him on Bellator and I'll be like, oh, that's the guy from AEW. But for now, he's just a guy. Arlovsky threw a ridiculous-looking punch to Hager. I don't know if you noticed that. How awful was that Andre Arlovsky punch, where he just kind of wings way back and goes, ugh. Like, he punched it this hard. Weak.
Well, the thing, like, it was in the distance, so you couldn't really tell what was going on. All I could tell was that, like, JDS had a kendo stick, and I'm like, why does he have a kendo stick? And then he kind of used it, sort of, and then he gave it away.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I don't understand what that was all about, but okay.
It was
he doesn't need a kendo stick. His punches are more lethal than the stick, probably.
I don't know. Did you see his gut punch to Sammy Guevara?
No, but you know, like, if he actually punched somebody, he would probably end their lives. So
I
like,
know that.
You
know that. But watching Dynamite, you sure couldn't tell. Arlovsky and Junior Dos Santos look like they have the weakest punches in all of pro wrestling, because they're pulling back their punches so much, they make them look so fake. It's horrible. It looks really bad. Every time they punch somebody, it's like, oh, man, that's not how you punch guys. They're making it look overly fake.
Yeah, they should probably just throw a lot more knees and more like just clubs. instead of doing actual punches. Because yeah, if you can't throw a wrestling punch, like it looks really bad. So you gotta cover it up with just like knee strikes and just shots to the back. It's better that way.
They're
Because the
just not,
back you can take a lot more.
they're just not wrestlers, right? They just don't have wrestling training, and they're in there doing pro wrestling, and it looks weird. And
Well,
they
it's
were,
harder too.
yeah.
When you think about it, because they're trying to hide the fact that they could actually hurt these people. So that's probably even harder. Where it's like it's not so much they don't know how to punch; it's that they don't know how to punch where they don't like injure the people. That's probably harder, I guess.
Well, I mean, they know what they're capable of, right? So I think they're a little bit afraid, too. They don't want to hurt anybody, which is nice of them. It could go the other way.
I'm sure Jericho appreciates that. Yes.
Yeah, it could go the other way where they don't care, and then they knock somebody out, and it's really bad. Ray Cruz talking about Chaos. Yes, the Good Friends were part of Chaos. Of course, I know Trent and Chucky T have that association with Okada. And now Orange, of course, by association, and Statlander, and I guess Wheeler Yuta, who I know has been doing some work with New Japan as well, the USA version of New Japan, whatever that is. New Japan kind of has two things running right now. They have a Japanese show with their Japanese talent, pretty much all Japanese talent, and that runs in Japan, and they're touring there. And then they have like a Studio USA show that they're doing, and that's with some American talent and the New Japan USA dojo, and that's not as interesting. So once New Japan gets their whole crew back together and travel restrictions are lifted fully, it'll be a lot better promotion. But right now, New Japan is in this weird limbo. You know, they got some good stuff going, but I mean, Naito has been hurt for a little while, and Ibushi got hurt. So New Japan's kind of hurting right now. I think the pandemic has hurt New Japan more than any other major pro wrestling company that you follow, except for maybe Ring of Honor, because you know what's happened to them. But New Japan has definitely struggled during the pandemic getting some people over to Japan. I think that's the main thing. The mix of Japanese talent with some of the foreign talent is what made New Japan very special. And because they can't get that high-level foreign talent over to Japan, I think the company struggled a little bit. They still have their core talent, but it's mixing the core talent with some of that main event level talent from outside of Japan that I think makes it a little more interesting. And AEW, that company has brought a flavor of New Japan. It's not the same, but there are elements of New Japan in AEW, and I think it's kind of filling some of the gaps for a lot of wrestling fans that were maybe tired of WWE and looking for an alternative, that were turning to New Japan maybe 3 or 4 years ago and now are going to AEW. So I think a few things are kind of hurting New Japan right now, but still a very good company with a lot of great talent, like Okada, like Ibushi, like Will Ospreay, like Zack Sabre Jr., so many. Evil, Sanada. Would love to see Sanada in AEW. I think he would be fantastic. Anyways, we've got Andre Arlovsky instead, and the American Top Team, they're beating up Chris Jericho on the ramp. And I don't know if you noticed Chris Jericho just crawling around forever, looking to find an actual pro wrestler to guide him into the ring so that they could do the spot in the ring that they had for this segment. All the MMA guys were just kind of like, and Jericho just crawling around like, hey, could somebody attack me and put me in the ring? Hey, all my guys are getting beat up here. Hey, I'm just crawling around. And then thankfully, Ethan Page found him and attacked him and brought him into the ring like, okay, brother, I'm a wrestler. I'm going to bring you into the ring because I know what we're supposed to do here. Because everybody else is goddamn confused. Did you notice Jericho crawling around for what seemed like an eternity on the outside during that segment, John? Because I sure did, and it's all I could focus on at that point.
My focus was more on like the table and like, oh, what are they going to do? Oh no, they're going to do the Dudleys thing? Ooh, this could be really, really bad. I'm worried about this. This could turn out ugly. Kind of sloppy, but, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, I get it. They're trying to do that kind of thing. Now, I feel like the Inner Circle is going to get the revenge at the pay-per-view, but They got the one up here at least.
Yeah, maybe. Dan Lambert, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page powerbombed Chris Jericho off the top rope through a table. Lambert was the one on the top rope kind of holding Jericho, but it was clear once Page and Scorpio brought Jericho up to Lambert that Lambert could not hold the weight and powerbomb Jericho down, so Page and Scorpio kind of had to, hold on to Jericho and really do all the guiding of Jericho through the table. All that Lambert did was just kind of hold him a bit and jump off the top rope, or the second rope really, back to the mat. Lambert didn't do that much. It was mostly Page and Scorpio doing the job, and then they talked for a while. They say they're going to make sure that Dan Lambert pins Jericho at Full Gear, and Ethan Page says tonight Dan Lambert's going to make Jericho tap out, and Lambert puts him in the walls of Jericho, and Scorpio grabs Jericho's hand and makes him tap. And Lambert says, "This is a Boston Crab from Championship Wrestling in Florida in 1975, because that's his whole thing, where he likes old wrestling and he doesn't like new wrestling, and Jericho's just repurposing an old move, and he's calling attention to that. It was awkward. I did not love this segment. It does not get me more excited for the match. I worry about what this match will be. A Minneapolis street fight, the Inner Circle, Jericho, Hager, Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz versus the American Top Team, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, Junior Dos Santos, Andrei Arlovsky, and Dan Lambert. I think this is going to be a mess of a match. Not looking forward to this one. I hope, I hope that it's better than what I'm expecting, because I'm expecting a mess.
Well, it seems like no matter what happens, the crowd is like really invested into all this. Like this segment probably had the most heat of the whole night. Like them just coming out, attacking the Inner Circle, that got huge heat. And then them in the ring afterwards, like it was hard for them to talk afterwards. Like regardless, like if it might come off like a little sloppy, a little rough around the edges, the crowd is eating this up. So even if there's a couple of botches, even if it looks like they don't know what they're doing, the crowd loves it. So like even when stuff is like bad, as long as the crowd's into it, it's watchable.
I don't really get it. Why is the crowd into it so much? Like I don't know. I think maybe because I see it from a UFC fan perspective. Like I like MMA, and I see a lot of the things that Dan Lambert's saying is entertaining and true. And I like Chris Jericho too. I don't know. I just know that the match will be kind of a mess, and I don't hate Dan Lambert. It does seem like a lot of the AEW fans though are like hating Dan Lambert and the American Top Team and everything they stand for. So it is working. I'm not that into it.
Well, it's what I've told you in the past. Like, it's, you have your view. Like, you like UFC, but a lot of people don't like it. They feel like this is like wrestling versus MMA in a sense.
Yeah.
And obviously the wrestling fans will pick wrestling. So there's that. And the fact that Lambert pretty much says a lot of things that a lot of anti-AEW fans say. So it's kind of like, this is the guy, this is the voice for all the people that we don't like. So definitely we're going to boo the hell out of this guy because we definitely don't like this. He's the spokesperson for that, so it makes sense.
I'll tell you, as a fan of both, UFC pay-per-views are blowing pro wrestling pay-per-views out of the water in 2021. UFC pay-per-views have been incredible, especially the past couple of pay-per-views. Amazing. That pay-per-view on the weekend sold out, Madison Square Garden, Kobe Covington, Kamaru Usman. Get out of here. Tremendous. Great pay-per-view. Great pay-per-view. UFC is putting on some tremendous fights right now. Say what you want about them, but my God, is it entertaining. They're doing everything right. Except maybe paying their fighters as much as they should be paid, but, who doesn't want more money, right? But, good God, those pay-per-views are fun. See, Angelo doesn't like Dan Lambert. He wants him to disappear. So it's working with Angelo. He doesn't like him. I like him. I think he's funny.
Well, I definitely think they're losing. And I think there's a strong possibility like he's taking the pin because they're probably going to set it up where it looks like he's going to win, but then they turn it around and they all take turns beating up on Lambert probably.
Yeah, which will be fun, and I'm sure the crowd will eat it up. Ty Conti will be wrestling Britt Baker on the pay-per-view. She will definitely not win, but she did win tonight. Conti, Anna Jay, and Thunder Rosa teaming up to take on Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel. Conti getting the pin on Rebel. Thunder hit a nasty top rope crossbody to the floor on Jamie Hayter. Hit that real high crossbody, like crossbodied her head down on the floor. It was rough. Jamie Hayter's very good. Seeing her in this match, I mean, no disrespect, but if you compare her to some of the other wrestlers in this match, I'm not going to name names, but let's just say that their names are not Thunder Rosa or Britt Baker. But when you compare Jamie Hayter to the other wrestlers not named Thunder Rosa or Britt Baker in this match, you really notice the difference. Jamie Hayter is she's in a higher level than some of the other talent in AEW. She's very good. Good addition to the roster.
Well, you can say it. I don't know if you want to say it, but Anna Jay really brought this match down quite a bit.
Rebel wasn't so good either.
Well, they should have made this match Thunder and Ty against Hayter and Britt, but
Rebel's not so good.
For this,
I mean, I like Rebel. I think she's super entertaining. I love her as Britt's manager, but wrestling, okay. But yeah, Anna Jay either. Ty is not my favorite either, to be real, but she's not bad.
I thought she had a good comeback there. She had some good fire. I think she's good in the ring. It's just they should have gave her some promo time. Like, they only did some backstage stuff, and it was like maybe a couple of seconds at most. They really need her to engage with the audience, and you got to have that promo in front of the audience, which they never gave to her. So it's really hard for people to get attached to her, to care about her more than they already do. So, to me, they didn't make this challenge challenging enough for Britt Baker. It feels like, it's too easy to predict. So it's kind of a shame that they didn't give Ty more in this feud.
Do you want to see Ty with some promo time? Can she talk? I haven't seen her cut any kind of cohesive promo.
Can we get a chance or something? They give Jungle Boy time, and Jungle Boy's horrible at promos. So, I mean, Ty can't be that bad, but, we never get to know, so.
Yeah, the man in our next segment, John, pointed out how terrible Jungle Boy is in promos in his little rap diss that he does. That Max Caster, every time he comes out, he delivers. The guy is money. Every single time. I don't care if people think he crosses the line. I don't care if he offends people. This is what people like about MJF. They should be saying the same things about Max Caster when he comes out. Very clever, very good raps. Very rarely will I approve of a wrestler rapping. Stay in your lane. A lot of these wrestlers, they try to rap, and it comes off a little, I mean, not just wrestlers. Any kind of athlete that tries to rap, it happens a lot. Fighters, baseball players, basketball players, football players, whatever you want. A lot of athletes try to rap, and it usually turns out terribly. And, even guys that try to use it in their gimmick usually turns out kind of bad. Except for, Men on a Mission and R-Truth, of course. Those guys are tremendous. And John Cena. Who can forget about John Cena, which I didn't like that either. But Max Caster, very good. I really like the Max Caster rap disses that he does before the matches. He dropped a line about Jungle Boy leaving his girlfriend alone with 7 guys all the time, and I was like, oh my God. And that was a really, inside line that you kind of have to know, because Jungle Boy, did you get that line? You got that, right?
Yeah, I got that. I just didn't like Jungle Boy laughing about it. It took away from this is kind of like a diss right there, and you just laugh about it. It doesn't feel like a diss anymore. It just feels like you're just going along with the joke.
He was talking about that. Yeah, I mean, he was talking about how Jungle Boy stutters every time he has a promo, and Jungle Boy's kind of like, yeah, all right, you got me there. And then he says he leaves his girlfriend alone with 7 guys because Jungle Boy's girlfriend is Anna Jay, and she's always because she's with the Dark Order. She's in the Dark Order, so it was a joke about that. But, it seemed a little, creepier when Max Caster was saying it. And he also said something about having sex with Jungle Boy's mom. What was that?
Yeah, I didn't really get that one because he kind of like skipped over that kind of quick. I don't know if maybe he had more to that, and he maybe realized maybe I'll just skip over that and just like cut something else afterwards. Because usually when he goes down that lane, that's where he gets into trouble. So maybe he realized it wasn't a good idea to go completely full on with that. Remember the last time, like I think when it came to like scandals and all that, it really got him in hot water. He disappeared for a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a month or 2. I don't know if you're looking it up now, trying to find the whole promo that got him in trouble.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who the mom is and what the deal is, but I don't know. She looks a lot like Jungle Boy. I see where Jungle Boy gets his hair. She was an actor. I don't know. I don't know what the joke was that he made, but he made some sort of joke about Jungle Boy's mom. And then Jungle Boy beats his tag team partner there, Anthony Bowen, with a snare trap submission. And then Bobby Fish attacked Jungle Boy after the match. And I was like, what's this? Bobby Fish doing the dirty work for his old buddy Adam Cole. Adam Cole, of course, and Bobby Fish were in the Undisputed Era together in NXT. They haven't really been seen together in AEW since they both joined the company. But, of course, Adam Cole and the Bucks have a match against Christian, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy on Saturday at Full Gear. But instead of, the Bucks or Adam Cole attacking Jungle Boy, it was Bobby Fish. Christian and Luchasaurus came out to chase off Bobby Fish. And then we had a backstage promo with the Bucks and Adam Cole where Bobby Fish was introduced by Cole to the Bucks. And the Bucks saying, any friend of Cole's is a friend of ours type of thing. And Cole offers Bobby Fish a match with Jungle Boy on Friday on Rampage. And they're all buddies again. So a little Undisputed Era reunion on Dynamite tonight. And it will be Jungle Boy versus Bobby Fish coming up on Rampage this Friday. I thought that was cool, seeing Adam Cole and Bobby Fish together in that way. They're not fully aligned, but there's clearly friendship and, room for some stories in the future, They acknowledge the past, but they don't dwell on it, and they don't automatically put Bobby Fish, in the elite or whatever. It's just like, hey, we're friends, and why don't you wrestle Jungle Boy on Friday and beat him up because I'm wrestling him on Saturday. I thought that was good.
Yeah, it feels like one of those moments where maybe it's something they're going to go forward with more, possibly expand on, possibly become a thing where it's Undisputed Era or whatever they have of it against the Elite. But I think as of right now, it's just more of a coincidence where it's like, this fits right now. So let's use it, and then let's tease a little something, and then, we could always go back to this possibly, but that's all it is for now. It's just, it fits, so we'll use it.
Yeah.
Got people talking.
Well, that's it. It's just a cool little moment, It's like, okay, well, when are they going to be seen together? How is this going to go? Are they against each other? Are they with each other? What's the story? And just seeing them together and, having that little interaction, I think it was cool. A lot of people like the Undisputed Era. They have a lot of fans. I was not a big fan of the Undisputed Era, but a lot of people were. A lot of people really like those guys together. And there's a lot of talk that Kyle O'Reilly might be headed over to AEW, or at least leaving the WWE. So who knows what the future may hold for those guys. A lot of rumors about O'Reilly showing up in AEW. A lot.
Oh, Roderick Strong is still the Cruiserweight champion.
Yeah.
So until he drops that title, I don't think there will be any rumors about him.
Yeah, as long as he's still in the WWE, it'll be kind of tough to have him go to AEW. You got that right, John. You got that right. Did you have a chance to watch that CM Punk Eddie Kingston promo again from Friday? Because we were on talking after Smackdown,
Right.
and the promo was going on. I watched it again because there was a lot of buzz about it, and it looked good from what I'd seen and kind of heard snippets on Friday, but I watched it again, and my goodness, it's a tremendous promo from Punk and Kingston especially, like really good, and Punk sold it the way he kind of responded back to Eddie Kingston. Really good stuff. Gets you excited for the match, and they were there tonight in the parking lot being separated by a bunch of wrestlers kind of yelling at each other, but nothing really going on there between Punk and Eddie Kingston. Little video package, little parking lot separation, but the promo on Friday was all you really needed to sell this match. That was really good stuff. Did you see it again?
I did see it again, and it kind of confirmed what we already thought before. It's like they can use their past in a sense, although like they don't really have like a huge match history. They were in the same places at the same time in the independent scene, so they can just play off that. And Eddie did a very good job of doing that. I think name dropping Samoa Joe as well. I think that kind of helped make it seem real. And I think in a sense maybe a little bit was, because you've heard those stories about like Punk was kind of like critical of guys like Kevin Steen. I think Kevin Steen's told that same kind of story where Punk was critical of him, just the way he looked. And, you know, I guess the same thing happened to Eddie Kingston. And they played off that. So I enjoyed that. And it just seemed like Eddie seemed like he was kind of offended by it, and he played off it very well. It just felt like there was some real emotion there.
I thought it was really good. You know, like you say, there are those stories about CM Punk from the past, from before WWE, where he was maybe, you know, one of the top dogs in Ring of Honor and some of these other indie companies, and he was not so nice to some other wrestlers that were coming up at the time that eventually became huge stars in professional wrestling. And Eddie Kingston is possibly one of them, and he's here coming to CM Punk saying, look, we're both in the same place now, and you know, we're on equal footing at this point. And I thought it was a just great promo from Eddie Kingston. I think maybe his best work in AEW. We've been seeing some good stuff from him promo-wise, but this with Punk, it just felt as real as it could possibly get. Real emotion there, and Punk seemed to have emotion as well. And Punk didn't come off like a full-on babyface. You know, this felt like Eddie Kingston cutting a promo on, you know, on Phil Brooks, you know, more than CM Punk. Like, it felt real, and I think that the real man, CM Punk, has made some enemies along the way. And we've heard a lot of different stories about Punk, how he cuts people out of his life. A lot of his best friends are no longer his friends anymore. If they're going to do this with Eddie Kingston, like, are they going to do something with Colt Cabana? I think there's a lot of meat on the bone there for that story. You know, there's a past with CM Punk that's not all sweet and, you know, nice. Some rough patches along the way. And if you explore those rough patches and you kind of dig at them, well, you're going to have some pretty interesting wrestling stories. And we got that with Eddie Kingston and CM Punk. It's maybe the most compelling story, most compelling feud going into the pay-per-view. Feel more heat with Eddie and Punk than you do with Kenny and Hangman, right? There's something there with Kenny and Hangman, but it doesn't feel as real as it does with Eddie and Punk. They've done a good job in a very short amount of time.
No, I'll agree with you with that. It feels like there's more real emotion in this than the title match, that's for sure. But I feel MJF, Darby Allin as well. I mean, in a sense, it's like it's the two young upcoming guys. They want that top spot in the future, and now it's them going against each other to prove who can get it first.
Yeah, that's a big one too. A lot on the line, and the promos have been good, but, you know, Darby doesn't quite fire back at MJF like MJF hits Darby. You know, Punk and Kingston are kind of on the same level as far as hitting each other with those big, heavy promo shots. But I think that there's more interest in Kenny Hangman match. There's more interest in the the Darby MJF match, even though Punk and Kingston feels more personal. There may be more interest in Punk Kingston just to see what happens between the ropes, but I think the end result is pretty obvious. Whereas the end result with Darby and MJF, the end result with Kenny and Hangman is still kind of up in the air. I think Hangman most likely wins. Darby and MJF is tough. I think Darby probably, but who knows at this point. But with Punk and Eddie Kingston, it's like, okay, well, the match will be interesting, and it could get a little rough, and it could be fun, and I think they'll tell a good story. It should be really good, but in the end, Punk's going to win. I don't think anybody's going to pick Eddie Kingston to win. I think it would be a big surprise if he won. And I doubt it happens, right? He's not going to be the first guy to beat Punk.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, like I just glanced at the betting odds, and I think Punk is the heaviest favorite out of all the matches.
There you go.
But again, like that doesn't mean for sure it's going to happen. And we've seen it before in the past where huge betting odds go the other way in wrestling. Sometimes maybe they look at it. But yeah.
Other than Brock Taker,
sure.
I mean, what? Wrestling's kind of obvious.
But sometimes they get the odds wrong, and those like it seems like for sure Taker was going to win, right? But no.
Okay, well then put $2 on Eddie Kingston and see where it gets you, John. I think you'll be out $2 because CM Punk will for sure win on Saturday, for sure. But the build has been really good in a short amount of time. It's been what 2-3 weeks to build this match, and it's interesting. You know who's going to win, but you still want to see it. It's good stuff. Shows you how good at promos. It shows you how good at promos they are, both of them. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, just with one promo, when you really think about it, they only had one promo to really do something, so that says a lot, actually. But I think throughout the whole card, it's like, well, honestly, except for Darby and MJF, where I feel like that's more of a toss-up, every other match, it just feels like, yeah, it seems kind of obvious who's going to win.
Bryan Danielson versus Miro for an AEW World Championship title shot. I think Danielson probably wins, right?
They kind of gave it away tonight, sadly. I feel commentating like they put like Danielson is like, oh, he's clearly the underdog here. Like Miro's too much of a monster, and it's like Miro just came back. Like, how does that make any sense? Like, I understand what they're trying to sell the story, but it's like you kind of gave it away where it's like, yeah, Danielson's going to be the underdog throughout the match, of course, but you kind of gave it away that now he's going to win because you feel like he has no shot in this.
What was with that Miro promo? Brian, you have to say goodbye to your wife so I could say hello to mine. Like, what? Your wife won't see you unless you beat Bryan Danielson in Full Gear? I didn't really understand that. I loved it. I love the Miro promos. I think they're fantastic. They're strange. They're crazy. Do you know my God? Brian, do you know him? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's just wild stuff. The Redeemer. I love the Redeemer, but what the fuck was he talking about?
I think he made mention in a past promo where it's like his wife doesn't want to see him until he comes back with the championship.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's the whole thing.
I wouldn't mind seeing him win the title. Win the match against Bryan, win the belts, go all the way with Miro. He's fantastic. And then, like, because he wins, like, for a celebration, Lana comes out and just celebrates with him. Not permanently, just one night on TV.
I think he'll win a championship, but I think he's just going to win back the TNT championship.
Maybe. Patrick C. Hamilton dropping a super chat asking, will Johnny be in studio on Saturday like AJ last Saturday?
Super chat.
Well, it's not a watch-along.
Yeah, that's it. We're not doing a watch-along. We're doing a post-show for the AEW Full Gear show. So I don't think Johnny will be in studio. I think Johnny will be from his home studio. And that'll be coming up on Saturday night right after Full Gear. We'll get you in studio at some point, though, John. Got to get you back in here.
It'd be cool for like maybe the Rumble or maybe even like that New Year's special they have coming up. There's some sort of pay-per-view or something they have.
It's going to suck. It won't be worth it. Maybe to spice it up.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't you think it's going to suck? I feel like it'll be bad. I don't know. Raw was so bad this week. Raw was so good last week and so bad this week. It's just like, you know, they build up your hope and you have faith all of a sudden. Then next week it's like, damn it, bad again. I thought you were going to be good,
Raw. It's hard to do a
Raw.
3-hour show every week.
I know, but they were really good last week. They had Damian Priest and T-Bar last week, this week, and they killed it. They had match of the night. They had a tremendous fight. It was great. And then this week, neither of them are even on the show. Come on. Just instead of showing one of your crappy Raw promos, how about you just show us the Cesaro-Walter match from Liverpool on Raw, and it's like a special. How about that? How about you give me some shit I want to see? How about that? I saw like some clips
They'll probably
from that.
show it
Looked amazing.
on like an NXT UK show or something, more than likely.
Or whatever they can do, just give me Cesaro Walter. Give that to me all day, every day. What else at Full Gear here? Britt Baker's going to beat Ty Conti. I think you're right. A lot of these matches are kind of obvious. Inner Circle probably beats the American Top Team. Lucha Brothers against FTR, I don't know. I could see this one going either way. I could see Lucha Brothers retaining the AEW tag titles or FTR taking them from Lucha Brothers.
The problem is with this is the fact that FTR already beat the Lucha Brothers for the AAA tag titles. I have a hard time believing they're going to beat them again for another set of tag titles. Like, I'd love to see it. I think FTR should become tag team champions. But you also remember this is Lucha Brothers' first, I think, defense on pay-per-view. I just feel like it's too early, sadly. And, like, it should be FTR. It just, unfortunately, it's too soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably right. You're probably right there. Darby Allin, MJF, that one is a toss-up. CM Punk's going to beat Eddie Kingston. Christian and Jurassic Express against the Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. Falls Count Anywhere match. I think Cole and the Bucks probably win, but you never know. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but because it seems like they're stacking the deck against them by having like Jungle Boy being like taken out in a sense before the big match, like it feels like it's set up for the Elite to win. Plus, they lost their last match when they were together, right? So it feels like they're going to get the win back here.
Anytime they're together, it just feels like they're going to win. Cole and the Bucks, you know, they usually win. Pac and Cody versus Malachi and Andrade. I think Pac and Cody probably. I don't know, though. Malachi and Andrade. Yeah, I think I'd go with Malachi and Andrade there. Cody taking the fall. I don't know. Maybe Cody wins, though. I don't know. See, that's a toss-up too, John.
That one's kind of tough, too. I mean, I'd lean more towards Malachi and Andrade because I feel like they're more of a team, and Cody and Pac, like, it's just kind of like, because they're put together, just, you know, enemies just happen to be their enemies. But yeah, it's tough. Like, who takes the fall in this one? Like, that's really the hard part in all this. Like, I feel like Cody lost his last match, so it wouldn't be him. But Pac rarely ever loses. But the same can be said about Andrade and Malachi. That's what makes this one kind of tough. But I lean more towards the heels, I think, because I feel the face team aren't really a team.
Have Andrade or Malachi lost at all in AEW?
Malachi lost to Cody once.
Oh, yeah, one time. You're right. Okay. Yeah, I think they win. I think Malachi and Andrade win.
And Andrade lost to Pac, actually, one time on Rampage.
Oh, yeah. Maybe not then. I don't know. I feel like they're going to make them win, but that's an interesting matchup there. And then Kenny and Hangman. I feel like Hangman is going to win, but I want Kenny to win. Keep delaying that Hangman title reign until it reaches a boiling point and the fans just demand it like crazy. I think the fans want it, but they're not demanding it. I don't think it's necessary right now. I think it's a little too early for Hangman still. I think they'll probably pull the trigger, but I don't know if it's time. I wasn't really impressed with the main event angle there, the contract signing, Kenny and Hangman doing the contract signing. I didn't love it.
It wasn't the best. Like, to me, contract signings, it's overdone in wrestling.
Yeah.
And it feels like they've all been done in some capacity, the whole setup to them. So they aren't great. I mean, I actually like Don Callis showing up there. That was actually kind of nice, but that was about it, though. Everything they said, nothing really seemed to matter too much. Kenny, there's a little bit of good storytelling, but nothing great.
Yeah. Kenny telling Hangman that, they used to be partners, that he sees a lot of himself in Hangman, and this was all built for Hangman, but Hangman couldn't measure up, and he couldn't get over his own insecurities, and he couldn't get over his own failures, and that's why Kenny's going to beat him on Saturday, because Hangman just doesn't measure up. And Hangman saying, well, Kenny, I thought Hangman's best line was when he was like, Kenny, I think you're insecure. You're worried about me. You're scared of me. And you used to have another partner that you also felt that you couldn't measure up to, kind of talking about Ibushi there in that moment, which I thought was a low blow. You don't talk about Ibushi to Kenny. That was rough. Hangman, though, at one point says, I'm going to sign this contract because the sooner I sign this, the sooner I get to Full Gear and I beat Kenny's ass to take the world title. I don't think Hangman understands time and how it passes. Signing a contract doesn't speed up time. You could sign the contract right before Full Gear. It wouldn't be getting you to Full Gear any faster. Did you notice that? Didn't make any sense to me. But the sooner I sign this contract, the sooner I get to beat your ass at Full Gear. It's like, no, you sign the contract, whenever. You sign it now or in 10 minutes. It's not going to really make a difference to how fast Saturday comes. Hangman not clear on the concept of time.
I think what he meant by that was the fact that, we get through this show in a sense, right? We get through this contract sign, this moment, and then we're one step closer to the next big show, which is a pay-per-view. So I think that's what he meant by it. It didn't seem like it came out that way, but I think that's what he meant.
Yeah, I understand what he meant, but it just came out a little weird.
Right.
Angelo's asking us, how long has Kenny been the champion?
It's almost a year.
Almost a year. He
won in
on
December.
December 2nd, beating Jon Moxley. December 2nd. So it's almost a year, but I could see Kenny holding on to it for even longer because he's Kenny by God Omega, and he's fantastic. I don't think there's any problem with keeping the belt on Kenny for another year or 2 or 3. Maybe not 3, but another 6 months to a year. I'd have no problem with that. And I'd also have no problem with Hangman not being the guy to beat Kenny. I want Kenny Omega to be Hangman's kryptonite, and I don't want Hangman to be able to beat Kenny for a long time. And then when he does, it should be emotional, and people should be crying. The fans should be crying with joy when Hangman finally beats Kenny. It should be a magical moment. I don't think anybody's going to be crying with joy if Hangman wins on Saturday. People just kind of expect it.
Yeah, but you've made mention of the fact that Dynamite, where it's going to be next week, it just makes sense for Hangman to win because you will get that great emotional victory celebration.
Yeah, in Norfolk, Virginia, where Hangman's from, or you get Kenny Omega coming out on the first Dynamite after beating Hangman in Hangman's hometown and getting tremendous heat by making fun of Hangman and how badly he beat him.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad guy ending.
Sometimes bad guy endings are good because you remember them, and then when the good guy ending comes, you savor it all the more. Anyhow, Kenny and Hangman talked a little bit to each other, and then they shook hands. And as they shake hands, Kenny tells Hangman, "I'm proud of you." And then he walks away. And Don Callis, who was the cameraman the whole time in a disguise, hits Hangman with the camera. And Don said he's been hiding in his basement for 6 weeks. I was wondering what happened to Don Callis. I thought maybe he was gone from AEW. He's been gone for so long. But he's back. Mm-hmm. He's been hiding, and now Hangman is bleeding from the camera shot, but really probably from a blade that he had hidden somewhere. And then Kenny signs the contract in Hangman's blood, and that is the final image as we go into Full Gear for Kenny and Hangman, unless they do something on Rampage, which is possible too. But that was kind of the last big moment for this story. Kenny signing the contract in the blood of Hangman.
Yeah, it just seems like they made it like almost official. Yeah, Hangman's definitely going to win. Like Kenny got the over going into the pay-per-view. It just feels like, yeah, Hangman's going to win. It feels like it's time.
Yeah, I would delay it even more, but I don't disagree with you. I do feel like AEW is going in that direction. I think that they could make more money and make it even bigger and better if they delayed it for another few months or a year or two even. But I don't think they're going to. I think they're just going to go with Hangman and see where it takes them. I could see a short run for Hangman, though. I could see a real short run with him just losing it to Bryan Danielson right away. Because if Bryan's winning this tournament, if Bryan wins the tournament, he should beat Hangman. But again, if Hangman's winning as a babyface champion, it would make sense for Miro to win the tournament and be his first challenge. Because he could beat Miro. I don't think he beats Danielson.
I think either way, it's a big surprise if Hangman loses to Kenny or if he loses to Bryan Danielson. Those will be big surprises. Not bad surprises, but I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going that direction right now.
If Bryan Danielson gets a title shot, he should win the title. That's how I feel.
I mean, if it's against Hangman, it feels like it's too early for Hangman to lose right away. But, I mean, hey, it could happen. You're not wrong.
It should happen. Build sympathy as a babyface for Hangman. Finally beats Kenny, gets to the top of the mountain, and then boom, right back down the hill, loses to Daniel Bryanson. Wardlow beats Wheeler Yuta in a squash match. It happened. It happened. The Blade and Isaiah Cassidy attacked Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. Are their names both Cassidy?
Well, no, there's Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, like.
Yeah, but isn't Isaiah Cassidy? Did Isaiah Cassidy attack Orange Cassidy?
Was it? I thought it was the Blade attacked him. I didn't see that.
Yeah, but the Blade and who, John? Isaiah Cassidy. How come they got two guys named Cassidy in this promotion? They got two guys named Cassidy. They got Hangman Page. They got Ethan Page. They've got a lot of guys with the same name.
Yeah, Cage as well. Yeah,
they got Wheeler Yuta and Cash Wheeler. They got two Wheelers. Two Wheelers, two Cassidys. Too much. No Too Cools, though. Rest in peace, Brian Christopher.
I think two's fine. Like you can have two. I think when you get like 3 or 4, then it's a little too much. Like didn't like WWE had the problem they had too many Steves at one point? They had to cut down on how many Steves they had.
This is when you got to kill somebody's last name. Isaiah Cassidy from the Private Party is now just Isaiah. All right.
Oh, that's one
too
name's
bad,
like
John.
that. That's
too bad.
Great.
He's Isaiah. I've WWE'd him. I've chopped off his last name. It's too confusing with Orange Cassidy. Although I think Isaiah Cassidy spells it with a K and Orange with a C. Either way, too many Cassidys. Also, how come the Blade and Isaiah Cassidy attacked Orange and Chuck? It's like mismatched tag teams. Where's the Butcher and Mark Quinn? Aren't they these guys' tag team partners? And then Matt Hardy's there because Matt Hardy's like their leader. He hit Orange Cassidy with a chair and then hit a twist of fate with Orange's head in a chair. Excalibur thought it was a side effect, but then Shivani corrected him, which is weird. You don't often hear Shivani correcting Excalibur on the moves. It's usually the other way around, but not this time. Score 1 for Tony. And, yeah. Where's Mark Quinn and the Butcher? What happened to those guys?
Well, for whatever reason, they had them in the 6-man. So I guess they're running with that. They're kind of like doing a 6-man squad, and that's the 6-man squad for Matt Hardy's group. So for whatever reason, those guys weren't there. Not sure if there's an injury or something, or that's just the way they have it, where they want them to be the trio group of the team.
I don't get it. Are they wrestling?
Well, I think they wrestled that like formation on Dark last 2 weeks. I think it's always been like that.
It's a weird one. Dynamite was pretty good tonight. Rampage coming up on Friday. You're going to have Jungle Boy versus Bobby Fish and Matt Hardy versus Orange Cassidy in a lumberjack match. So they're going to continue that. Hardy versus Cassidy in a lumberjack match, which lumberjack matches are my least favorite AEW gimmick because they make a mockery out of the fucking stipulation every time. The lumberjacks are just kind of crash landing pads for the wrestlers. You know, they just jump on like 10 guys and, stage dive basically on a bunch of dudes. And that's what the AEW lumberjack matches are. And I bet that's what this will be on Friday. So, not good.
Well, it's a Rampage right before the pay-per-view. I mean, are you really looking forward to this? This feels like the matches that weren't good enough to make the pay-per-view, so I'm not really excited for that 1 hour, to be honest. It doesn't seem like anything really that exciting for that last Rampage for the pay-per-view. It's actually kind of disappointing for the last show before the pay-per-view. I mean, I know this kind of was, but
yeah,
that really is, so it's disappointing.
That's a little preview. That's just to get you ready. Rampage is a little, it'll be some promos and stuff. It won't be that intense. There'll be very little action going on Rampage Friday night. And luckily for you, John, you get to watch it with me and preview AEW Full Gear at the same time. So we'll be watching Rampage, we'll be previewing Full Gear on Friday night, and we'll be recapping everything that happened on WWE Smackdown. So we'll be very busy coming up on Friday night. We got a big, busy weekend. Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right after SmackDown. We'll be back here to preview Full Gear. And then Saturday night, right after Full Gear, we'll be back to recap everything that happened, give you our reviews, our match of the night, our score on 10 for the pay-per-view. Could Full Gear be anywhere near Double or Nothing? We will find out. Or was it All Out? All Out was the one that was crazy, right? That was the last one? All Out? My God, that was good.
That was the last one, yeah.
Yeah. That was like pay-per-view of the year. I don't think Full Gear tops that. That was crazy. My goodness.
Well, wait and see. I mean, just based off the last pay-per-view, you'd expect this to be also really good. So,
yep.
Wait and see. I know, the other one was really good, but I don't see any reason why this one can't be good as well. Just wait and see.
I think it will be. AEW does some of the best pay-per-views in pro wrestling. Some of the best. They do the best pay-per-views in pro wrestling, at least these days, right? On a consistent basis, I think AEW, I think their pay-per-views are more, they're more consistent. WWE, sometimes they got good stuff, but it's, then the next pay-per-view is just terrible. That's the problem with WWE. Sometimes they deliver a really top-quality show, and then the next week it feels like they kind of forgot everything or they changed their mind and they're not going to do that anymore. It's really weird. It's not a consistent show. You can't say, watch this, it's going to be good, because you never know. With AEW, you can say, yes, watch this, it will be good, and it usually is.
Well, I think you said it. WWE had their best pay-per-view last month.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you expect Survivor Series, like usually that's always a decent pay-per-view. So WWE has a good chance of having 2 good pay-per-views back-to-back. And we'll do that the following week, actually. 2 UFCs and 2 wrestling pay-per-views.
Did you see the card for Survivor Series?
It looks interesting. I'm very interested, actually.
I want to see Charlotte and Becky.
Yeah, I don't know if we're getting that. I think Becky's going to wrestle Liv from what it looks like.
No, that's happening Raw Monday for the belt, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, hopefully we're going to get Becky and Charlotte then.
I hope so. We're getting Big E versus Roman. It should be Becky versus Charlotte, although I don't think they made it official. Watch SmackDown Friday and see what the Queen says. Yeah, they still have to make it. See what the Queen says on Friday. She better be on the show. She wasn't on the show last week. God damn it, WWE. I tuned into SmackDown to watch Charlotte Flair, not Roman Reigns. Give me Roman Reigns last week. I didn't want Roman Reigns. I wanted Charlotte Flair.
Roman Reigns the main event this week.
Oh, yeah. Roman's actually going to wrestle this week, right? He's wrestling Xavier Woods. That's fun. All right. That's it. We are done. Shout out Patrick C. Hamilton, 777, out in the home of Brock Lesnar, beautiful Saskatchewan. Patrick C. Hamilton, our OG Day 1 member, is the Super Chat leader tonight. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate you. Harold Schneider dropping a Super Chat as well. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Doug Hepburn. Thank you, Brian Firth. Thank you, everybody who supports the Ringside Report Network. We appreciate you guys. Angelo Contagonis as well, of course. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. And Johnny and I will be back on Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. I will be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, with Freddie and AJ talking UFC. UFC's got a show this coming Saturday as well. Not just Full Gear, but we've got Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez coming up in Vegas this Saturday. Be sure to check us out for our picks. See my picks last weekend, John? Killed it. Clean sweep. Everything was correct. I got all the fights right last week.
It's good. Well, it makes it a very exciting watch-along when that happens.
Yeah. We had the Trevor Whitman parlay coming through for us last week at UFC 268. Usman, Namajunas, Gaethje. We cashed in. It was like plus 300 on that parlay. We cashed in big time, Team Dave, and we hope to cash in once again this weekend. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis dropping a super chat. Says, great show tonight, guys. Thank you for the analysis of Dynamite. Well, thank you, Angelo.
Super chat.
There he is. Thank you, Angelo, for supporting the Ringside Report Network. And once again, my friend, you are the super chat leader of the night. I saw Angelo drop in a super chat when the show ended on Monday night on the Raw post show. So you were the super chat leader as well on Monday night, Angelo. I saw that. The show was over, and Angelo dropped one just to be the leader, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you stepping up again here tonight, Angelo. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Patrick, and thank you to everybody supporting Harold. Angelo is a super chat leader once again. The leading man of the Ringside Report Network, Angelo. And Johnny, of course, with the leading man looks over there. Big, handsome John. I'll see you again on Friday.
Good night.